We have not made this issue politically the single most important priority so far. And I want to bring you back to a time where someone tried to get it the single highest priority. This book includes an extraordinary story of Arnold Hyatt speaking to President Clinton in a public forum. And Hyatt describes, "I purposely referred to Franklin Roosevelt because Clinton had shared with me his admiration of Roosevelt. I said 57 years ago, Franklin Roosevelt faced a nation and a Congress that were largely isolationist, and there was little or no sentiment for intervention in a war. This would have been, I think, 1939, in a war considered to be foreign and none of our business. No one said it could be done, but using his office and considerable leadership, Roosevelt educated the American people and developed a basis of support for Lend-Lease. And then went to that he campaigned and provided the leadership to lead the nation to conscription. I don't know if you know that, but that vote," Hyatt said, "went to the House and it won with a one-vote majority." That was 1940. So here was Roosevelt, Hyatt says, taking positions that were not very popular. And I, Hyatt says, was leading up to something because I knew where I was going to go. I said that the current campaign financing practices, I thought, were threatening this nation, but in a different way, a way no less serious, that money in politics was undermining our democracy. So then I looked at Clinton and I said, you know, he was in a similar position as someone we all admired, and that he was in a position to provide the same kind of leadership. I said not all reforms were created equal, and clean money was no exception, but it was time for the Democratic Party to move out in front, not to talk about limits on soft money or even limits on hard money, but to have an alternative to the current system that had generated the perception of sleaze, public financing. I said this was a great opportunity, but that it took a lot of courage and vision to stand alone. I felt strongly that there was a lot of public support for this. I said, in my judgment, you'll make the second greatest contribution to the 20th century. And I said, God, this sounds corny right now, Hyatt said. And if you do, you will, quote, save this republic by restoring government to the people. The story then continues. Clinton's response effectively slashed Hyatt to pieces, humiliating him in front of the group. Roosevelt was our transformational presidency. It is what Barack Obama spoke of in Nevada when he spoke of what his presidency was going to be. And I think though many of us were strong supporters of Clinton, we need to recognize his was a failed transformational presidency. The question we have now is whether Obama's will be the same. Because as much as I admire and love this man, our president, there is no sign yet that he recognizes that the fundamental bankruptcy that our nation faces is not GM or Chrysler or even Citibank. It is a bankruptcy here. And this is a bankruptcy not caused by lobbyists. The new cheer, first kill all the lobbyists, is just as inane as first kill all the lawyers. Lobbyists are not the problem. It's how campaigns are funded that is the problem. Break that funding mechanism and you break the economy of influence that takes lobbyists who ideally should be providing the information that government needs and turns them into nothing more than maybe better paid lawyers. We can't afford to ignore this dependency in our government anymore. We need to recognize the costs. Again, Jefferson. We should look forward to a time, and that is not a distant one, when corruption in this, as in the country from which we derive our origin, will have seized the heads of government and be spread by them through the bodies of the people, when they will purchase the voices of the people and make them pay the price. Jefferson was not speaking of the 21st century, but that's exactly where we are now. And what this system needs is the courage that Hyatt called upon Clinton to demonstrate. It is the courage to change not the descriptions that we've seen so far, but change this. Thank you very much.
So we'll now have a break for lunch. It's about half an hour, and then we'll convene for a conversation with Professor Lessig and Mika Sifry and Adam Bone. And thank you very much.